Welcome to the first Public Information Center for the Town of New Tecumseth Sanitary Sewer Master Plan. This PIC will be available for public review from September 22nd to October 6, 2022. We encourage you to reach out and let us know if you have any questions or feedback by filling out the comment form or contacting our project team members. We want to begin with a land acknowledgement that the Town of New Tecumseth is situated upon the traditional territories of the Wendat, Haudenosaunee, and the Chippewa Ojibwe. We acknowledge this land is covered by the Lake Senko-Nottawasaga Purchase between the Crown and Chippewa Nation in 1818. Today, descendants of this group make up the Chippewa Tri-Council with communities based at Georgina Island, Rama, and Beausoleil First Nations. The Town of New Tecumseth acknowledges the role of Indigenous people in its history and their continued contributions to the town.
Welcome to the Public Information Centre presentation for the Sanitary Sewer Master Plan for the Town of New Tecumseth. My name is James Jorgensen, and I'm the Project Manager for GM Blue Plan Engineering, the consultant that the town is asked to help support them to deliver this important project. On your screen, you can see all of the agenda items it will be covering in today's presentation. Importantly, keep your eyes out for the Stay Engaged logo on various slides throughout the presentation. This is your opportunity to let us know your opinions. The primary objective of the Sanitary Sewer Master Plan is to identify the long-term wastewater infrastructure needs and the required servicing strategies to support growth to 2051. The Master Plan will provide a strategic vision for the next 30 years to understand what needs to be done and when it needs to happen in order to accommodate the future growth that is planned for the town and its communities. The project will follow the municipal class environmental assessment process, which will evaluate various alternatives and ultimately select a preferred servicing strategy, culminating in the delivery of a wastewater capital program. The project will also consider important aspects such as climate change and the renewal needs of the existing infrastructure. The purpose of this presentation is to outline the Sanitary Sewer Master Plan activities and the project schedule. It's intended to provide public and stakeholders with an opportunity to learn about the Sanitary Sewer Master Plan and what it means for the future system. Between September the 22nd and October 6th, you can submit any questions or comments about the project through the town's website or through the email that's provided at the beginning of this presentation. This project will be following the municipal class environmental assessment process, which all Ontario municipalities have to follow when doing work on public infrastructure. The project will be focused on achieving phase 1 and phase 2 of the process, looking at the problem and opportunity statement, followed by the alternative solution, evaluation, culminating in the selection of a preferred solution. You can see in the graphic where we are in the process right now. We are at Public Information Centre number 1. This is a discretionary point of public contact, but the town values your input and we want to hear from you. The problem and opportunity statement for the project provides the vision. The Sanitary Sewer Master Plan has been initiated to update the town's long-term wastewater servicing strategy by incorporating future wastewater demands based on projected growth to 2051 and beyond. The plan will also identify capital improvement projects to promote economic vitality through residential, commercial, and industrial expansion. Some of the strategic goals of the project include creating a hydraulic model to aid the analysis of the system, to fill data gaps through new surveys, to provide recommendations for how to deal with that future growth and the operational requirements that will be needed. Ultimately, we'll be defining a capital implementation plan which outlines the projects, the timing of those projects and the costs, and that will help to inform the future development charge and rate studies that are going to be key to ensure the sustainable future of the infrastructure in the town of New Tecumseth. The town of New Tecumseth is growing. The numbers that you can see in the graphic come from the draft of the Simcoe County Municipal Comprehensive Review. You can see that in the next 30 years, there's expected to be over an 80% increase in population through people and jobs. This growth will drive the need for new sanitary servicing across the communities that you live in. We want to hear from you. How do you feel about this growth? Remember, you can provide your comments at any time through the town's website or the email provided at the beginning of this presentation. There are multiple key issues and considerations that will need to be addressed through this study. Understanding existing infrastructure in order to optimize its use so that we can minimize the need for new infrastructure and new assets will be a key component of the study. Being able to anticipate the impacts of growth on the system will be important. We'll be able to use our new hydraulic model to look at various growth scenarios to assess the variety of impacts that it may have. Within capital planning, life cycle costing is a key consideration. Life cycle costing refers to the cost of an asset throughout its whole life, not just the capital cost at the beginning. Understanding what development charge allocation is required to ensure that growth pays for growth and to make sure that we're doing the best by the physical and natural environment are all key considerations. In order to evaluate the various options that we have before us, we'll be using a multiple bottom line approach. We'll be looking at the technical aspects, environmental, social and cultural, financial, legal and jurisdictional, in order to understand the pros and cons of each in order to arrive at a preferred servicing solution. The town of New Tecumseth provides municipal sanitary services for each of its 3 communities of Alliston, Beaton, and Tottenham. In total, there are over 122 kilometres of sanitary sewer, 18 pumping stations, and 3 wastewater treatment plants. The systems of Beaton and Alliston are linked via a pumping station in force main, with the flows from Beaton transferring to the treatment plants in Alliston. The system in Tottenham is separate and has its own treatment plant. Within Alliston, there are over 74 kilometres of sanitary sewer. There are 11 wastewater pumping stations and 2 wastewater treatment plants, the regional treatment plant and the Alliston treatment plant. The Alliston treatment plant is reaching its capacity and currently operates at around 80%. However, the regional treatment plant has much more capacity, and understanding the balance of flows between these 2 facilities will be a key consideration for the servicing solution for Alliston. In the downtown area, there is a lot of aging infrastructure, old sewers that require attention. Being able to identify the needs of growth together with the needs of renewal will provide efficiencies for servicing. There are some environmental considerations in Alliston. The rivers and creeks, whilst they may present some servicing difficulties, they are also important features that need to be respected and understood in terms of preserving the environment of the area. There is a significant growth plan for Alliston, and as I mentioned, around the downtown infrastructure, it's not just greenfield growth, but it's also intensification growth, which is about higher density growth within the already built urban areas. There may be some developable land that is going to require a new pumping station in order to be serviced, and this will be a key aspect of the servicing strategy that is ultimately going to be defined for Alliston through this master plan study. Again, we want to hear from you. If you have any concerns or issues in and around Alliston, or if you were aware of any drainage issues that you have seen in the past, we want to hear about it, and we will incorporate it into our study. Within the smaller community of Beaton, there is just 18 kilometres of sanitary sewer, and there's only one pumping station, Lily Street Pumping Station. However, all of the flow within the community collects at Lily Street Pumping Station and is pumped north to Alliston for treatment at the regional treatment plant. Because all of this flow is transferred via this one pumping station and a single force main, it's a potential point of vulnerability for the Beaton system and acts as the limiting factor in terms of capacities. Within the area, there's been a history of inflow and infiltration issues, and the town in the past has invested in studies and remediation efforts to improve the situation. Inflow and infiltration is the ingress of water into the sewer system from external sources, perhaps maybe through downspouts or something similar. Again, we're expecting to see greenfield and intensification growth within Beaton, so maybe some higher densities in the already developed area, as well as new development on the extremities of the current urban area. It's likely that some of the developable land may need a new pumping station in order to service it, and that will be an important consideration for where the growth goes and how it's going to be serviced going forward. We want to hear from you about your experience of the drainage in Beaton. Please contact us and let us know. Within the community of Tottenham, there's around 30 kilometres of sanitary sewer. There's 4 wastewater pumping stations and 1 wastewater treatment plant, which takes and processes all of the flow from the community. The treatment plant does have capacity and currently operates at around 65%. Similar to Beaton, there is a history of inflow and infiltration issues in the area, and again, the town has invested in studies and remediation efforts to improve this situation. There are some servicing obstacles in Tottenham that are specific to the area. Parts of the area are within the Greenbelt and the Oak Ridges Moraine, which are environmentally sensitive areas that will require special consideration for servicing. There's also the railway and the Beaton Creek, which may present servicing difficulties in terms of crossings and being able to change the configuration of the system. We want to hear from you. What's your experience of the sewer and the drainage system in Tottenham? Please let us know.
The town is investing considerable time and resources in data collection to enhance their understanding of the sanitary sewer infrastructure through field investigations and data gap analysis, including the following: desktop analysis of known information and previous work completed, field investigation, including a maintenance hole survey, CCTV or closed circuit television condition assessment of sewer infrastructure, a town-wide flow survey to gain an understanding of existing wastewater flows within the sewer system, and information gathered through the study will be used to generate the town's first ever computerized hydraulic model, which will be used to identify sanitary sewer system issues and provide further clarity on system operations and allow for the testing of new servicing solutions. One of our most commonly asked questions is, what is a hydraulic model? A hydraulic model is a computerized version of an existing sanitary sewer system, and it's a representation of infrastructure operations calibrated using existing asset information that we gather from surveys. So what can we do with it? The model can be used to address all kinds of different scenarios, including future population growth, resiliency to climate change, emergency servicing plans, and system sensitivities. Results from the hydraulic modeling analysis will feed into the development of a sanitary sewer capital plan to ensure timely implementation of infrastructure upgrades. The timeline shown on this slide presents an overall view of the project schedule. Virtual Public Information Center number 1 focuses on phase 1 of the project, identifying the problem or opportunity. This phase consists of a background review and an assessment of existing infrastructure, as well as the development of a hydraulic model through the build and calibration components. Once the town has received and incorporated feedback from the public, we will then move on to phase 2 of the project, selection of alternative solutions. This will involve the identification and assessment of alternatives, the development of a capital program and implementation plan, and a strategy to optimize program delivery and ensure financial sustainability.
So what's next? We will review and consider any input received through the project survey, the website, or any emails received. We'll make sure that we respond to anyone that provides input. We'll be using our newly developed hydraulic model and the survey information collected to help identify and then evaluate the servicing strategy alternatives. Ultimately, we'll be selecting the preferred servicing strategy, which we will present at Public Information Centre number 2. And at that time, we will again be seeking input from public and stakeholders for their opinions on the plan. The final project report will be prepared and submitted to the town council, as well as the Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks. It will then go through a mandatory 30-day public review period before being adopted by the town. So what does this plan mean for you? It may mean recommendations for new or upsized sewers, upgraded or new pumping stations in your communities. The plan will outline what's required to service the growth in your community for the next 30 years. It will be used by the town to inform the development charges, as well as to understand what's needed to be done to enhance resiliency to climate change, ultimately providing a long-term sustainable servicing strategy for all of the communities of New Tecumseth.
Your feedback is important, and we'd like to remind you that this PIC survey will be available until October 6th. We highly encourage you to complete the project survey and let us know if you have any considerations that would be critical to the outcome of the Sanitary Sewer Master Plan. However, should you have concerns, questions, or comments after the survey has closed, you can still contact any member of the project team. We also want to mention that an interactive version of this first PIC is also available through Story Maps. Thank you for your time and participation, and we hope to hear from you soon.